Most of the trading psychology issues that you face come from one of these three things. And if you can get a handle on them, and I'm going to show you how to get a handle on them, then you will never look at trading psychology the same way, and you will never be the trader that you were before. This will completely change everything for you. Let's go through them one by one, and I'll tell you exactly how to fix them at the end. So just to be clear, we're talking about FOMO, hesitation, not taking your stops, not taking your profits. All of these common psychology issues that are talked about have an underlying problem. One of these three things. So let's get into them. The first underlying issue is taken straight from trading in the zone. Mark Douglas absolutely hammers this point. That is that you're not thinking in probabilities. And now you're not a bad trader. There's nothing, you're not doing anything wrong for not thinking in probabilities. The world around us, the world we grew up in, is not designed for thinking in probabilities. We weren't taught that. But what does thinking in probabilities mean? Here's what it means that no matter what strategy that you employ on the stock market, you're going to have winners and you're going to have losers. Now, you can design that strategy so that it has various amounts of winners and losers, commonly all the way from only a 25% win rate, but with astronomical wins that are just far outweigh those small losers. Or if you're a scalper, you might have like a 90% plus win rate, but your winners are not that big. So it's however you want to design that strategy. The point is you're going to have winners and you're going to have losers. Now, here's what you end up doing, because we all do it when we start out trading. You start trading with hopes and dreams. For some people, it's Lambos. Totally fine. I'm not judging you. Lambos are awesome. But you get really excited about the idea that you could actually potentially buy a Lambo and maybe have some super hot chicks driving around with you, whatever it is that you're just, not my dream, but hey, if it's your dream, you're probably getting all excited about it. For others, they actually have a very serious need for the money. Maybe they have family members that are sick, or maybe they just really need to do something specific with that money. So there's a lot of emotion tied up with it. For others, they just really hate the grind of the 40-hour work week, the 9 to 5, and it just looks like a ton of relief. Regardless of what it is, all of that emotion is packed into each individual trade that you're in when you're in it. That's a problem because you don't know that that trade is going to be a winner, right? After you do the work that I'm going to discuss that is the fix to these problems, you're going to know how many winners and how many losers you would typically have over 10 trades. But the next trade that you place, no one is ever going to know if that's going to be a winner or a loser when you're in that trade. Now you have all of this emotion of all your hopes and dreams, and every time that that trade goes red, you get crushed emotionally. All your hopes and dreams get crushed. But when you're up $100, well, you're thinking, no one's making supper tonight because I'm going to use this $100 and I'm going to buy supper for the family. And then when you're up $500, you're thinking, oh man, if I can just make this every day, then I never have to go to a full-time job again. And then when you're up $1,000, you're already opening a new window on your screen and you're looking at the real estate listings, seeing what kind of cabin you can buy on the water, what kind of vacation home you can buy on the ocean. Like your hopes and dreams start going wild. And if you're in that mental state, then you probably let that winner turn into a loser. It came all the way back out, and the best case scenario is that you stopped out for break even. Regardless, all your hopes and dreams are then crushed again because you're putting all of that emotional energy into every single trade that you place. Can you see how that would be really hard psychologically for anybody, no matter who it is? The second reason why you're struggling psychologically is because you don't actually have faith in your entries and exits. The reason that you don't have faith in your entries and exits is because you probably got this strategy from someone else and you haven't done the work to know that those entries and exits actually work. And now, even if you want to believe this logically in your logical brain, the back part of your brain, the unconscious part of your brain, is telling you that it doesn't know. And it does this through fear and anxiety and chaos because it's going to call you on your crap. It's going to say, hey, you may be trying to convince yourself that this is the exit and this is the entry, but you haven't done the work so that I know and I'm comfortable. So your subconscious mind is not going to let you get away with that. So that's the second reason. The third reason that you're struggling with your psychology is because you're too focused on your psychology. You're getting in your own head. If you have three losers in a row on your strategy, well, now you're in your head and you're looking for all these psychological problems that may or may not exist. And now, let me just say here, let me just stop and clarify here. Trading psychology is a real thing. It is a real thing, but we're thinking about it all wrong, right? Trading psychology problems do exist, but real trading psychology looks different than what most of the information is out there. And if you want to know more about that, click on this video that's popping up right about now. But to continue the discussion that we're in, once you start making trading psychology a big deal, well, now you get in your head and you start overthinking and you're looking for all these psychological problems. You're looking for yourself to be the problem when in fact it could be something simple like broader market conditions changed. That is the most common reason why a trading strategy stops working is because broader market conditions changed. And guess what? Broader market conditions will change back and then the strategy will start working again. But now you're so in your head by the time that happens that you're in now you actually do have a trading psychology problem and you can't get back to consistently profitable. All right, what's the fix? The fix is to log your trades and review them regularly. Why is that the fix? That's the fix because you start to prove the best place for your entries and exits. You start to quantify what your win rate is based on how you trade that strategy. When a guru gives you a trading strategy on YouTube, they tell you you have a certain risk to reward on this strategy. But I promise you that that risk to reward is not reality. Risk to reward is not something that you get to define or a guru on YouTube gets to define. Risk to reward is a product of the actual trades that you took and how much of a win you got versus how much of a loss you got. That's what risk to reward is. So you need to log your trades and actually calculate that, quantify what your actual risk to reward is, and then you can go back on the spreadsheets and see what was common. Like, was it common for me to actually get a little bit more profit? Or was it common for me to just take a little less profit but get stopped out less? And the result will be a higher win rate, which may result in more P&L. The problem for a lot of trading psychology problem issues is that you haven't done the statistical analysis, you haven't studied your strategy, you haven't gotten to know your strategy, you haven't used this information to go back and get to know how you trade the strategy. You haven't gotten to know yourself in this trading strategy or as a trader. And all of this can be summed up by not having a proper structure to learn trading. And the reason why I focus on the spreadsheets is not because I'm a spreadsheet nerd or not because I was 8 years old and totally loved spreadsheets. That's not it. The reason I focus on it is because that's what professional traders do. They focus on the strategy. And do trading psychology issues come up? Yes. Do they have the top trading psychologists at their fingertips? Yes. But those trading psychologists don't meet with them every week unless an actual problem comes up. So the fix for a lot of your trading psychology issues is to stop focusing on trading psychology issues. They will come up. I can show you how to deal with them, and I'll put the video up again that shows you what real trading psychology is and how you can benefit from that because there are real trading psychology things that you can do and should do from day one learning to trade. But I promise you that those issues are not focusing on FOMO or focusing on the fact that you didn't take a stop. Look, guys, just set your stop loss and walk away. That's how you take a stop because each individual trade is just a data point in your spreadsheet that fills out an overall risk to reward profile of a strategy. Once you can view each trade as a single data point and you spread the emotional load of all of your hopes and dreams out over all of the data points on that spreadsheet, now each individual trade isn't carrying the burden of your entire vision of hopes and dreams for your trading career. Now it's spread over 50 trades or 100 trades, and each individual trade just becomes a data point that you fully understand that this trade could be a loser, but that's not a big deal. Because if you lose 3 trades in a row, hey, your next one's probably a winner. But you never know that unless you do the work of having a structured way of learning using statistical analysis and using that to develop yourself as a discretionary trader. Look, guys, if you got value out of this video, leave me a comment, like, subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next video.